Welcome to another Jackalmen Games podcast. We were created with laughter in mind, so join us while we giggle and grow together.
Is that what I'm supposed to sound like?
What the heck was that?
It's my Spanish app.
Well, alrighty then.
I'm doing Duolingo. I'm learning some Spanish right now. And I have to actually cheat on Duolingo sometimes because all my students speak Spanish. And I'm like, oh guys, what's the word for belt?
Wait, all your students speak Spanish? Is it because they are Spanish or they just know Spanish?
They are Spanish. A lot of parents,
okay.
A lot of my parents come in, not my personal parents, but my kiddos' parents. They come in and they speak only Spanish. So I'm making an effort to speak Spanish.
To learn.
So far, all I know is "Donde está el hotel?" But that's about it.
How are you gonna ask your students' parents where the hotel is?
I mean,
I can ask you your name in Spanish.
¿Cuál es tu nombre?
Or like that's not how I learned it, but okay.
That's what is your number.
Yeah,
No, nombre is name.
I don't think that's right, man.
You know what?
I can ask you how you're doing and what your name is, because there's like "Cómo estás," which is like asking somebody how they are.
All right, you ready to start this?
I don't know. I think we just need to have a Spanish lesson.
Yeah, I had a 96 in high school in Spanish, and then I just lost it all because I never used it.
Well, then you need to use Duolingo, brought to you by languages.
My languages.
You can learn. Oh, wait.
What was that book? What was that audiobook you could get that teaches you like every language? What is that thing called?
Rosetta Stone.
Yes, thank you.
That's the one.
There's actually they can teach you High Valyrian, which is the language from Game of Thrones.
What? That is amazing.
Yeah, so I made a post and I sent it to all of my parents for the students. It was like, these are some learning apps that I'm using. You can use Raz Plus, you can use Prodigy, you can use Duolingo, and then like I started putting like little synopsises of under these apps of what they were, and it said, just in time for season 8 of Game of Thrones, you can learn High Valyrian. You can watch it with your kids. Oh, no you can't. And I erased the whole thing.
Yeah, maybe not, man. You're gonna get fired.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I can't recommend Game of Thrones to 8-year-olds.
You teach what? Yeah, I was gonna say, you teach what, second graders?
Yeah. This is all in the podcast, by the way.
Oh, that's amazing.
What'd you say?
It's not La Baño.
It's not La Baño, it's El Baño. Bathrooms are boys.
And you're gonna get
bathrooms
dunked
are boys.
in El Baño. About to dunk your head in El Baño.
So, just wanted to...
Dice swirly?
Spanish bullying. That's what this sounds like right now.
You guys are being so mean to me. Yeah, it's like that episode...
I'm not even bullying you. It's not even me.
No, you're part of it. You're not stopping him. You're enabling it, so you're part of it.
Oh, man.
If I knew how to stop him in Spanish, I would.
El Stapo.
That's literally my thought. El Stapo. Yeah, that's terrible.
I mean, there's an episode. I know this is totally off topic, but there's an episode of Hey Arnold where the fifth graders are like they all have to mandatorily bully the fourth graders. So Hey Arnold and his friends are running away from but not just Gerald. I mean, like all of his friends, like the whole class of fourth graders are running away from Wolfgang and his group of fifth graders, while kids are like getting picked up and thrown into full trash cans, and it's pretty much like D-Day, but just elementary school.
The elementary version.
Yeah, it's a really good episode.
I just love Hey Arnold.
So, is his last name Arnold? And
he actually has a last name.
Here, I'll look up his last name. No, that's not
That
it.
is not. That's not it.
All right. So now that everybody is thoroughly confused on what this podcast is, hi, it's Stone Good. I'm here with Karma and Parker Simpson. Are you going to go by Trash Panda today, bud?
I don't know, man. Mi llamo es el
Oh,
Pandero de la garbage. That's the one.
yes.
Oh my goodness.
No, man, call me what you want.
Okay, so Parker.
Yes. See.
See. Listen. Okay, so I have to throw this in there. So you know how Arnold's grandfather always calls him Short Man?
Yes.
Because that's his last name is Short Man. It's Arnold Shortman.
It's Arnold Shortman?
Yes, it's Arnold Shortman. So he also calls him Short Man because his last name is Shortman. Short Man. It's technically Short Man. It's spelled exactly how it sounds.
Is it? But wait, is Grandpa his dad's dad or his mom's dad?
Listen, I haven't dug that deep into the knowledge of Hey Arnold, but now you make me want to.
Oh man, I want a Hey Arnold family tree.
Arnold even has a middle name. It's Philip. I did not know that was a thing, but he does apparently have a middle name.
Oh, the last name's not as bad as like Neville Longbottom or something like that. So.
Yes. Or Luke Skywalker, bringing it back. Okay, so
yes.
Well, welcome to this episode of Star Wars Destiny Podcast, brought to you by the Jackalmen. Today, we are diving in deep on luck in this game, but I mean, I've been having a lot of thoughts about luckiness because you're probably listening to this on or about St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone.
Wait, what? I did not realize it was St. Patrick's Day. What up?
Yeah.
Yay, drive the snakes out.
Yes. Sunday is St. Patrick's Day, so hopefully you all drink responsibly. And please be like old Luke, not young Luke. Drink green milk on St. Patrick's Day. For our main event, we're talking about being lucky and moments of luck and unluck in this game of dice, which inherently becomes a game of chance as soon as you incorporate dice. And I wanted to talk to Parker and Karma about their luckiest and unluckiest moments in Star Wars Destiny. And I also wanted to share my own stories. Okay, so they're actually... I mean, this is going to be a little all over the place. The Discord section is not going to be like this neat, tidy little section today because I drew on it a lot while I was kind of writing my own mental notes. I asked the question to our Discord group, when you play Destiny, would you say you are more lucky than unlucky or vice versa? And then out of the blue, Andrew Cox responded, known as Reflex on the Discords. He said, what about neither? Average is an option. And that got me thinking that, of course, a prolific Star Wars Destiny player will say that they're not lucky. And they'd say that they're not unlucky. The deck that they build, the deck that they play, tries to take out luck entirely. And after he wrote that, I went and took a shower, was hanging out, thinking about it. It's like, I should message Honestly Sarcastic. I should message Mike Gem. I should message our boy Eric. And I should message like all these players that I know, and Agent of Zion specifically. I should message these guys and be like, hey, do you feel like you're lucky or unlucky? And immediately, without prompting, Agent of Zion says, I always feel lucky. So I got out of the shower and read that. So before we begin with unlucky and luckiness, I wanted to ask you, do you think you are a stronger player if luck doesn't play a part in your gameplay?
Oh man, I didn't realize I was going to school. No, I mean, I would say win without a certain amount of luck, that's great. But there is a certain amount of luck that's inherent to this game because we're playing with dice. So I guess it's more of if you believe in luck versus having a lot of skill. It takes a certain amount of skill to win a game. But when you're playing with dice,
I kind of agree with how he says it. It's to me, the only time I really feel like luck needs to come into play or can come in as a mindset of the game is when I need my opponent to do very poorly on a roll so I can come back from maybe being behind. So it's just like if I'm behind and I feel like if that's the only thing that can help me catch up is them getting a roll that doesn't affect my board state, then I'm hoping I get lucky in that state. But other than that, the whole game is just playing a strategy of how my deck needs to play against that person's deck, whether it be completely opposite of mine or something very similar to mine. A lot of it to me is definitely a skill of the game, more than it is a luck of the game. And that's just so it makes it easier to play the game when you feel like you can be like, okay, this is how this person's playing. This is what this person's got. How can I play against that? Versus like, let me get lucky when I roll the dice or something like that. So it makes it easier to come off with the game when you're playing it. To me. So
it's more like you wish bad luck upon your opponent, not wish luck upon yourself.
Yes. I'm hoping it's worse on their end, because if it's bad on my end, now I need a whole nother turn to try to catch up from whatever bad, whether it be a bad roll or something. But if it's bad on their end, then it's easier for me to play my turn out versus like them having to fix whatever went wrong for them. Now I don't have to fix anything.
That kind of leads me into my next quote from one of our Discordians. From what about Bob? He says, "Honestly, it irritates me to no end when people complain about bad rolls in Destiny. The challenge is making the best of what you've got available to affect your opponent. Sabine is a great deck to play if you just roll threes. It's when you don't roll threes that takes the talent. And ultimately, I think it all balances out in the end. As long as you don't have a solely roll-dependent deck, then that's just your own fault for deck design."
I mean, I completely agree with that, honestly.
That's fair.
Like, yeah, you're not a good deck builder if you are like if your deck is reliant on luck, you are not a good deck builder. And those aren't the decks that shine. Like the decks that shine are the ones that take the luck out of it. You know, the Snoke decks, the Yoda decks, you know, Talzin. Those are the three awesome engines right now, and they have focuses out the butt.
Yeah, and then Snoke is just like, well, Snoke Tarkin just laughs in your face at whatever side they roll as long as it matches with another one.
It's true. Yeah, the luck is in matching dice, not in specific sides.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why it's nice when they make so many cards that allow you to fix your dice, or characters that allow you to fix your dice. So that way you're like, well, I didn't roll damage. Well, now I have this card that lets me get damage. Even if that person, it still gives that person a chance to take it away from you. But if they can't take it away from you, then now you've gotten the damage you weren't able to roll in the first place.
Hold on, I'm reading a little bit.
No, you're good.
So, Roll Tide.
I saw that. I agree. I'm not going to quote on it for the game.
No. So, I mean, most of the comments that came back, I tallied them this time. One person thought that they were lucky. Two people thought they were inherently unlucky. And six people thought it was 50-50. Like, over time, you'll even out. But there was one person that said that the unlucky moments are the one that stick out in your mind the most. I just want to find that person. I want to give credit to them. Oh, it's Sir Lone Star. Yeah, Sir Lone Star says that he tends to remember the unlucky times more than the lucky. And that brings me to my question to you. What is the unluckiest moment of your Destiny career, if you can remember?
The most unlucky part of my Destiny career was probably the only official event that I went to. I went to a store championship at my local shop, and it was not a ton of people. There's a couple guys from out of town. So I was playing the starter deck Han Elite with Lando Elite, so OG Lando. It was actually really funny because there were two other people who were also playing the starter deck Han, but they were playing also thematic pairings. Then I think it was the final round of the tournament, I had gone 3-1, and so it was for like probably a top 8 spot because there's only 14 people. And so I go up against my final match, and of course it's against another Han but it was the final battle of the Han sidekicks, apparently. It turns out it's Finn. It's Finn, hands down. We were going pretty back and forth, neck and neck. I think I had lost Han. He had lost Han, so it was down to Finn and Lando. Lando makes a ton of money. I was about to drop, I think it was a pirate speeder tank or some big support that was going to just wipe him off the board. And we end up going to the final round, and a rig detonation for 5 indirect. Poor Lando. And that was probably the most unlucky I've gotten in Star Wars Destiny.
So I wanted to share my most unlucky moment. I've shared this moment before in an earlier podcast when we were reviewing Kappa Cup, but I don't know where that is in the ether, so might as well just put it here on season 1. It was at Kappa Cup, and I finally made it to the top tables. This is my first time ever being at table 2 ever in my life, and I was super stoked, and I was running Millionaires right after it went huge. And I was playing up against one of the Golden Dice players. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it was Tom. So I was playing against Tom, and he was running Yoda Luke, the Luke 3. And he drops Force Wave immediately, and that is a card that I don't like as a 3-wide deck. And my entire strategy was get rid of Force Wave, because I held on to Flames of the Past from turn 1. So I just needed his second Force Wave to fall in, right? So I aggressively mill him, because it's not a really good strategy to aggressively mill in that deck. You got to take it slow, and it'll run its course. But as soon as you drop Force Wave in that deck, it's pretty much over, because Yoda is always going to resolve that special unless you can remove it from the table. And he was eating through me, and I eventually died. And I asked Tom, I was like, hey, before I get up away from this table, I just wanted to know, where is that second force wave? Excuse me. Where is that second Force Wave? And what he did was he just picked up his deck casually and flipped it upside down, and on the very bottom was Force Wave. So I had to win the game to get rid of that Force Wave.
I thought you were about to say that he was only playing it as a one-of.
That's the same.
I mean, that's what I was afraid of, but that wouldn't be unlucky if he was only running 1. That was a smart decision. But that's even before Flames of the Past was a card that people even thought about. Now people are like, I will only run 1 of this because of Flames.
Man, I'm struggling on really unlucky moments. I feel like I have more just like.
Are you just bragging on I don't have any losses ever. Everything is just strictly skill based. I am outplayed. I am not outlucked.
That actually is a great statement. That should have been the closing statement.
I am outplayed, not outlucked.
Outlucked, yes. That would have been beautiful for the whole
rolled a blank
video.
Yeah, I never rolled a blank. Unless
no, Kira loves to roll blanks 2 at a time usually, and I'm just like, yeah, that's awesome.
I mean,
Thanks,
I know.
Kira.
I feel like you have a better lucky story than you do unlucky story.
I probably do, especially when it comes to rolling hot damage, and somebody just looks at me like they hate me after that.
I mean, your best example of luck is when you, in my opinion, when you rolled all that hot damage in Louisiana.
Oh my god, I was rolling, and that wasn't even just that game against Eric. It was literally the entire day. That's how my dice rolled. All my games were that way.
I mean, and that happens. Hot streaks happen in any statistical scenario. Hot streaks.
Well, the guy I played in the top 4, I was rolling so well a lot of the game. I literally apologized 3 times.
Yeah, those are the games I actually consider sometimes being paired with a certain person lucky.
Yeah.
When I sit across the table, when I'm 3-4 and I just want to get one more win at this 8-round regional, and I sit across the table from the grumpiest person in the room, or in Miami when I'm 2-3 and I sit across the grumpiest guy in the room in Miami, and they're just already tilted, that I consider a lucky a stroke of luck in the game.
You don't play as good when you're angry.
Yeah, I mean, being tilted is definitely a thing in any sport or game. Like when you're upset, you don't have your brain on. So for the person you're sitting across, you are giving them I guess a stroke of luck.
Yeah. I honestly, like, if I have to say to be unlucky for something in the game, it's not necessarily going to be bad rolls and bad plays and stuff. I'm going to call it bad pairings, because I get paired against my friends all the time, and I hate having to play against my friends. Like, I play James like almost every tournament we go to, and we were tied at one point for beating each other, like we were even. And when we went to Louisiana, I broke the tie and beat him. And so I was like, well, so, we were tied for events until today. And he's like, shut up.
Another way to be lucky, especially for the more casual players out there, because it's definitely pack pulls. You can also count as lucky.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be at the table competitive. I bought 3 boxes of whatever the last set was. I don't even remember.
Across the Galaxy.
Yeah, Across the Galaxy. It was blending together. And my first pack was Vader. Second pack was Vader Saber. Go through the rest of the packs and have a great box. I don't remember anything. It doesn't stick out in my mind. Second box, open it up. First pack, Vader. So
you just make me sick.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, I'm done, and I got my money back.
Hey,
do you have any legendary pack pulls, Mr. Trash Panda?
And that was actually on my list of luckiest times, because as a casual player, I have very little lucky times playing the game. So yeah, when I first started playing Destiny, I bought a booster box of Awakenings. This is when it just came out. I was one of the first people at the shop getting it. And I opened up my first pack. I already talked with my buddy. So we had made an agreement that if he pulled a Jabba the Hutt, that I wanted it. And that if I pulled a Darth Vader, he wanted it. And we've kind of stuck with that pattern as we've played and pulled packs. But yeah, the first card out of the pack, Darth Vader. Open his box the next day. First thing out of the pack, Jabba the Hutt. So we were like, okay, here you go, switch. And that was when nobody knew any values or anything. We just wanted to play the characters that we wanted to play. So we were both happy as clams.
So this is it's actually like an ongoing thing for a while. When Legacies came out, it's pretty hilarious. It involves James. He was super salty for like 2 months at me. So when Legacies first came out, me and him both got a box apiece, put in our boxes, and I got a Yoda in my box as one of my legendaries. He got some different stuff than I got, so like I was excited. I got a Yoda. He didn't get one. So he really wanted to get the Yodas because he plays Blue Hero. That's like his thing. We go to a draft tournament in Panama City Beach, Florida, and we do a draft. First pack, he's sitting across from me. First 2 packs I opened out of the 3 we were opening had a Yoda in it. And he's just eyeballing me. Like, he gets one, but he doesn't get to keep it in the draft tournament because we didn't do like amazing. So it was a snake draft, so he didn't get to keep it. Later on, like a week or a couple of weeks later, I buy some packs at our store again. I get some Empire packs. I get some Legacies packs. I buy 3 packs of cards. One of those packs had a Yoda in it. The other one had a 7th sister in it. So I pulled 2 legendaries out of like 3 or 4 packs of cards. He was playing a casual game with somebody. I was like, James, look what I pulled. He looks at it, just like nods his head, like, and goes back to his game. Later on, after the game, he was just like, I want you to know I'm salty as frick about that Yoda. Like, it was literally like the funniest thing. It took him the longest time to finally get 2 Yodas. Like, we get it. He pulls another one later in a draft we had at home, and he finally gets one. And he could have got another one, but I didn't read my Facebook Messenger on my phone. Where he was like, hey, you should pick that Yoda so I can get it, because I already had to. I didn't need it. I picked some really janky card I didn't need, and I was like, you could have just said, hey, look at your phone.
Yeah,
I would have
that's
got
true.
it for you.
What are you What are you trying to get lucky on in Convergence?
It's actually funny. I'm not actually all that excited about Convergence. I'm more interested in the Allies of Necessity and the General Grievous decks. I think I'm going to pull everything that I want.
So you're like the top players. You take out all luck. You just get what you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about a couple of the rares from Convergence, but nothing that I'm like super excited about.
Okay, so there's two things we got to do before we close this out. Number one, I'm not going to share my other story because we've been talking for about an hour. Number two, we need to do a jackal hunt spot. Like somebody's got to come in and tell us about jackal hunt.
I'm totally down.
I wonder who that's going to be. I think it's going to be this guy named Joshua that's going to come in and talk to us.
What?
Let's find out in the next 3 seconds. State your name, date of birth, and last digit of your social security number.
Yeah, my name is Joshua. I was born in January 23rd and 7.
Go ahead and figure out the rest of the 9.
Yes.
So can you tell me what you do for a living?
I work with Dan at it's called Wiregrass Technologies, and basically we are a break, fix, repair place for electronic devices, phones, tablets, computers, that kind of stuff. But Dan likes making stuff, and so he has a whole bunch of machines, and he's trying to launch a makerspace business from the ground up. And I was hired to be a part of the break fix it, and I really latched on to the makerspace area, so we've been really having fun. So, I mean, he's got 200-watt lasers, which are Glowforge Pros, and they can pretty much etch and burn into anything in a certain size. And we have a automated CNC drill or an X-Carve, which can really do some awesome stuff. We got 4 3D printers and a heat press and a sublimation machine and all sorts of stuff we can really have some fun with.
I know that Ashton listens to our podcasts, and I know every word that you said Ashton will get, and he'll be freaking out.
Yeah, man, we're just learning what to do with this stuff. And Dan is in it to make money, of course, and he's willing to make whatever his customers want. And I've been a gamer my whole life, getting in tabletop games over the last 4 or 5 years, and really, really loving this scene, and the community is great. I mean, just fantastic, especially when you compare it to the video game console community. So I really loved the tabletop community.
Thank you, Taryn. Taryn, I love you. Thank you for my coffee. Best wife. That stays in though.
Yeah, so you got to keep the slurp. The slurp has to stay. There's so much essence in that slurp.
Really? Yeah, it's delicious. It's French vanilla. I know I probably get a lot of slack for that, but yeah.
Who cares? Drink what you enjoy.
So hold on. You're a makerspace. Do you work? I mean, this is pretty obvious. It's a Star Wars Destiny podcast, but do you make stuff for Star Wars Destiny, Joshua?
We do make stuff for Star Wars Destiny.
I'm actually one of your customers for Wiregrass Makerspace.
Yeah, we have an awesome Anakin Pod Racer case for you.
Yeah, I can't
and I
wait
actually
for it.
We started a new idea with staining some of the wood, and I actually might redo your case.
So what's really cool about Wiregrass Makerspace is that they are the main sponsor of the Jackal Hunt. They are providing our trophy. They are providing our first and second and third place, like really eye-catching prizes, and we so much more actually. Token sets for I think every player. Do you know the list offhand?
I know a lot of what they're doing. I'm not sure if every player is getting a token set, but I know there's a lot of tokens going to be given out for playing and beating the Jackals. I know for everyone who beats them, they get something, and I don't know if it's top 8 or top 4 gets a set and gets some really cool stuff that's going on. I don't want to give away too much beyond the tokens for right now, but as far as exactly what prizes or what places get what, because that's more up to you guys. But
yeah, it is up to us. But I mean, your main medium is wood, correct?
Yes, we specialize in carving, engraving, and cutting wood, and we do some acrylic stuff too, but
So
mainly wood.
so what he was alluding to earlier, I have been talking to Joshua for about a month.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Your
mean,
your order's kind of we've kind of stalled a little bit, but yeah, we've been in constant communication,
yeah,
making
so
sure to get your details just right.
it's it's a custom job for real, and it is this beautiful wooden deck box that will hold my deck, have enough space for all of my dice, have a little like insert for my tokens, and will also the top part of the lid will be a dice roller, right?
Yeah, dice tray. We call it our tournament box. It can hold 15 dice, I believe. Um, yeah, 15,
Yep.
and then it holds your sleeved. It can hold dragon sleeved. Your whole deck in dragon sleeves, so we make sure to fit that because everyone loves dragon sleeves. And it can hold either your normal tokens or the custom tokens that we can make for you. Um, yeah, and that holds the dice by a little dice grid, so each dice has its own little cozy home, and it's lined with felt, so it doesn't get scratched up or anything like that. And like you say, when you open it, the top of your case becomes your dice tray. So it's all neat and compact, portable. We try to be as space conscious as possible, especially during tournaments.
It's,
So
I mean, to put a scale on it, because I've seen Eric's, our player Eric, he has one with Darth Maul engraved on the top, and it says his name and Jackalmen Games, and it all the felt is, his choice, and it's not. I mean, everybody loves the Ultra Pro Sidewinder deck boxes for Destiny because it has those three compartments. One compartment's for your dice, one compartment's for your deck, and then it has like this little tiny baby like token dice tray
yeah,
thingy.
yeah,
It's no bigger than that. So if you we're going to do a full product review of these dice trays soon and put them up on YouTube. But right now you gotta trust. I should actually be putting pictures of the work in progress of the Anakin Podracer one that I have getting set up. My shield tokens are custom. My resource tokens are standard. And I think our damage tokens has our names on has Jacqueline
yeah. I
Games on them
mean,
too.
everything. That's what we specialize is custom make. So this can be as custom as you like it, or as standard as you like it. If you just want wooden version of the cardboard version, that's fine. Or if you want like yours, we did a pod racer for your shield, and I mean, we did. You can put your name on each of your damage tokens. They're double sided, 1 and 3. We can do anything you want to, as long as it doesn't obscure information. It's really you can use whatever you want in Destiny, and we specialize in bringing that to life.
I actually I want to quote our messenger because Joshua asked me, it's like, hey, you want your token set? If you get a complete token set, it comes with a power action token as well of your choice, and that's also wood. And I said, yeah, it'd be really neat to get the cockpit of Anakin Skywalker's pod racer to be the shield, just to follow the theme of Anakin. I started searching on Google and found this top-down, like, artist view or artist rendering of the pod racer, and I said, that's the top-down of Anakin's cockpit. But, like, is there a way to make it not look phallic?
Yeah,
and
it
Josh
was it was quite suggestive in its shape. Yes.
and Joshua responded, the wooden penis would be a pain in the ass. You're being the exact. Oh, no, that's not the line. Oh, the first one will look like a wooden penis no matter what I do.
Yeah, I tried carving out a few samples, and it wasn't good,
Just
man. It
straight up
wasn't
look
good.
like a giant a little wang.
It was a hard on. I mean, you can't help it.
So George Lucas, what are you doing? Put a little boy in a thing called a cockpit that looks like a penis. What are you trying to
Hey,
do,
we
Lucas?
can't go there. We can't go there.
Joshua, are you going to be at the Jackal Hunt?
Yes, I am.
That is so rad. So
Yeah, I'm so excited. Yeah.
not only are your products going to be there, the guy that is in charge of making them will be there, and you'll get to see everybody's first-hand reaction to the gear you're making.
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly if we're going to have a lot of product to sell, or if we're going to hand out coupons, or exactly what we're going to do. It all depends. We're very, very busy with just our normal jobs in life, so we're trying to figure out a good balance.
Please bring business cards with your name on it so people can look you up and connect to you on Facebook Messenger.
Yeah. We're actually going to have probably a wooden token we can hang out, or we'll have our name on it and our Facebook and Etsy page on it.
Okay. All right, so like a wooden business card.
Yeah, our wooden business card are actually etched on aluminum. We have a way to etch it on aluminum that we can actually hand that out too.
That's fancy.
Yeah, it's really cool. We actually have you seen the one that I've given James and Eric?
I saw the dog tag. Yeah.
It's got the jackal hunt, the date, where it's at, and all that kind of stuff.
That is so rad. I mean, it's straight up cool to have somebody that has the equipment that you have, the mediums that you have, the supplies that you have, and the creative ambition that you have, and also the willingness to create custom pieces for people in this community.
Well, I have the passion to do it, and I really like doing it, and that's just something I like. But Dan, the store owner, is the one who's really, he's seen the passion in me, and he's seen the potential, profit that could be for this community, because I've explained to him how much we love our games, how much we love to personalize our games. I mean, no one stays with cardboard tokens for life. Everyone gets something. And that Destiny had a big open spot for, people. There's a lot of space for a lot of different creators. So a lot of credit goes to him for buying these machines, because I definitely didn't have them by myself.
Oh, no, exactly. All right. Well, thank you, Joshua. I look forward to officially meeting you on April 27th in Mount Dora, Florida, at the Jackal Hunt.
For sure. I'm so excited to come and play and meet everyone.
Oh, that was a great Jackalmen Games Jackal Hunt spot. What about the rules section? You guys want to hear about want to hear me and James blabber about card rulings? That resounding silence means yes. So I'm just gonna take a break from practicing Spanish and the podcast to talk to you guys about some rules with my buddy James.
What's up, guys?
Hey, yeah, James. You know that every time I call you, I just hit record.
Yeah. I shouldn't even be surprised at this point.
Try to get you off guard.
Well, hopefully we got some good ones for today.
Does coercion force my opponent to exhaust streetwise if he had one less resource for the chosen yellow event? That's by Faranik Sakvari.
There you go, perfect. So no, I don't think that we've talked about that one. So coercion, for those that don't know, forces you to play an event from your hand as your next action. And the other card that was mentioned is a card support that lets you exhaust it to play a card for one less. So basically the question is, if you coercion something that they can't pay for and they have the ability to make it cost less, do they have to use that ability? The answer is no. Coercion, or not coercion, but what was the support?
Streetwise.
Streetwise, there we go. Streetwise is a May ability, so you can choose to activate it when you play a card. If you don't with coercion, then basically coercion fizzles and you move on.
Neato Canito. Cool Whip the Red-Headed asked, how does Qui-Gon Jinn's Saber's shield work with multiple dice of indirect?
So that one's actually pretty important. I played Qui-Gon Saber in a recent event and nearly lost a pretty important round because of me playing it incorrectly. But the way Qui-Gon Jinn Saber works is whenever you lose a shield, you can exhaust this upgrade to gain shield back. So the way that dice are resolved is a single die at a time, unless it's a modifier, in which case 2 dice are resolved as a single source of damage. So anytime that you lose a shield to a single die, you can then immediately gain 1 back. So say you have 2 shields and somebody's resolving a 2 damage and a 2 damage. You can take 2 damage from a single die, exhaust the card, gain a shield back, take 2 more damage, and you only take a single actual point of health.
Nice. Also, Cool Whip the Red-Headed has an abbreviation at the end of his name, or an initialism of SSOM. What do you think SSOM stands for, James?
Oh God. That totally stands for super serious only memes.
That's pretty good on the fly. I was gonna say Super Saiyan on Mountain,
It could be either one.
but we both have Super at the beginning. Want to do another one real quick?
Yeah, I'm down for however many you got.
Captain Sharky asks a question, and it has been resolved, I think. Yeah, it's been resolved, but I want to hear you say it. So Captain Sharky has a question. Fear and Deadman. Am I resolving this die for free multiple times, or am I resolving it once against each opponent's characters? I'm trying to use it with Bloodlust.
All right.
What even is Bloodlust? Hold on.
Yeah, if you want to pull that up and say.
Let's talk about Bloodlust right now. Ooh. Is this a new card? Oh, it's Across the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bloodlust is a blue event from Across the Galaxy. After you resolve one of attached characters' dice showing damage, you may deal 1 damage to a character. Okay, so basically it's asking, how does Fear and Deadman react with Bloodlust?
So, for the purposes of Fear and Deadman, even though your damage is going across all of your opponent's characters, you're only resolving the die once. So, say for instance you're using it on Vader's 4-for-1, you would deal 4 damage to each character. Then Bloodlust would trigger, and you would choose one character to deal 1 damage to.
Oh, that doesn't sound like a good return.
Yeah, it's not horrible.
It's an upgrade, so it's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, if you're using Fear and Deadman, that's a minimum of 9 damage from that 4-for-1 die, so it's not too bad.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll end it there, so we still have... Oh, you didn't send me any more questions, so I guess we gotta end it there, man.
Alright, sounds good. I'm looking forward to next week.
Yeah, we're gonna fade right into the thank yous, goodbyes, closing statement of the podcast. So next time you hear my voice, it will be probably right now. Man, those were some good card rulings.
You sure were.
They're the best.
They sounded amazing. I hope his responses were correct.
So let's close this out. But first, I want to start with our guest today, Parker Simpson. Parker Simpson, we started this episode without saying who you were. Who are you?
Who am I? I don't know. Who are we all? No, I'm an artist from South Carolina.
Parker Simpson makes alternate art cards for Star Wars Destiny. You can buy them on TopDeckTCG. Use the code Jackalmen Games 10 to get 10% off your order. And if you buy how many cards? If you buy a certain amount of cards from Parker, I think it's a set of 5, right?
Yeah, if you buy, I think it's either 5 or 6, you get a bonus card. It's a beautiful Sound the Alarm, which sadly isn't played that much anymore. But it's a Sound the Alarm with a bunch of porgs just yelling at you, like porgs do.
Well, the thing is, buy them. Okay.
Yes, buy the cards.
If you... our boy Parker's also sponsoring our Jackal Hunt. We're going to have a lot of Parker Simpson artwork there. He is giving us some exclusive artwork and exclusive cards. We even, from Monk's Gaming Battlefield, we were sent cards that Parker made exclusively for Monk and his Patreons. They were given to us to give away at the Jackal Hunt. So, we're getting everybody's stuff here in Florida. Yo, let's plug some other stuff while we're at it.
You know.
Is that okay? Is it alright if I plug some other stuff?
3, 2, 1, go.
Go to jackalmengames.com. Go to Jackalmen Games on YouTube. Go to Jackalmen Games on Patreon. Patreon is actually straight up bumping. We are posting our YouTube videos 48 hours ahead of time on Patreon for our $5 and above tier supporters. And we just owe it to you. Ashton has been making music on his phone, and they're being used in our podcast sometimes if they're really good. Those are getting posted. Behind the scenes from Dr. Maul is being posted. Dr. Maul episode 1 should be out before Convergence drops, and that's for our $5 and up tier as well. We are making sure that the people that support us get some thank yous in forms of content. If you go to jackalmengames.com, you'll be able to get the spoilers so you can practice with Convergence before it's released. Everything that's been spoiled is now given to the public. And a new article is up, which is actually a counterpoint from Your Destiny. Your Destiny made an article about the death of Blue Hero, and James is like, hell nah, and made an article to say, no, Blue Hero is going to be on the rise. So if you want, please check out both articles. They're very well done. It's time for closing statements. I have one from the one, the only. Use the first moments in study. You may miss many an opportunity for quick victory this way, but the moments of study are insurance of success. Take your time and be sure.
Did Thrawn say that? I think that was Thrawn.
It might have been Thrawn, but you know what? It counterpoints the entire point of this podcast, which was, are you lucky or unlucky? Okay, bye!
Wait! I'm going to take a page out of Jedi Geek Girl's book and ask you guys 3 shotgun questions.
But I did the closing statement. You can't have a shotgun question at the end. What's the shotgun question?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
What did Obi-Wan tell Luke when he was struggling to eat his Chinese food?
Oh my god.
Use the fork, Luke.
Yes!
Yes!
How does Luke get around on the planet Endor? He walks. Unless he's in a hurry, then he runs.
Yeah.
And last question, where did Luke buy his robot hand?
From the secondhand store.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. I gotta throw you a bonus one. What's
bonus
the temperature of the inside of a tauntaun?
Lukewarm. Yeah.
It's like you guys have the internet or something.
No, I'm not even typing them in. Like, that is
it's
just...
like Discord doesn't exist when he's already on there or something.
Oh, no.
It's just easy puns. They're not like...
But they're hilarious puns.
It's like, what kind of car does Yoda drive? A Toyota! And it's like, what... Where does...
In a Yoda voice, though.
Yeah. Where does... where does... I can't even say it. Where does Palpatine get his clothes? At the Darth Maul!
Oh my god. Like, you have to be in a group with people making these jokes and get that one person who just doesn't know and everybody's dying laughing.
What's Obi-Wan's favorite alcoholic beverage? A Qui-Gon gin and tonic.
Hey, that's good. I never heard that one.
I just made it up right now. It's just
I was about
puns.
to say, he totally just made that up.
It's just puns. It's
Oh
nothing.
my god.
Hey, man. Puns, when well crafted, are the most complex of jokes.
There's your closing statement.
Yeah, you know what?
Thrawn also said that.
You know what else Thrawn said?
What?
Goodbye, everybody.